Peggy 18.
Ubisoft had plenty of announcements at this year's E3 between Assassin's Creed Unity, Rainbow Six Siege, and obviously a couple of new dancing games. We were pretty spent. But then Far Cry 4, how could we not get super excited all over again? This is a sequel to the highly acclaimed Far Cry 3, and I think it's fair to say that we are both looking forward to a new location, jumping into the Himalayas, and jumping back into that ridiculous Far Cry feel.
Definitely. I think the only real concern I had coming into having a look at Far Cry 4 was maybe that it wasn't going to be pushing things forward enough. The box art reveal, which is all we really had to go on at first, just seemed to feel like, oh, they've found another kind of crazy guy, he's going to be the villain again, and it's going to just, kind of really just be another spin on what we had before. But actually, thankfully, we're seeing a lot more than that. We're seeing some really new, interesting ideas coming through, and I think the setting could actually add a lot more to gameplay than we had first imagined.
Yeah, I mean, my thought on that is the Far Cry 3 story started great, and then just it really did just sort of go off the beaten path, and it was weird in places, and it wasn't great, but the fun to be had was attacking those outposts, exploring that world, and I think that's what Far Cry 4 is really gonna deliver on. Like, they've realised that they're not maybe the best storytellers in the world, and I think Child of Light again went to prove that. But this time out, they're really improving the verticality. Obviously, this is a landscape that is full of mountains and caves and like little ravines and what have you. And this is going to basically let you go anywhere and do anything that you want. From the outset, it's not going to, like the wing glider isn't going to be something that's given to you sort of 3/4 of the way through the game. It's going to be something that you get quite early on, so you can start jumping off of ridiculous mountains and finding all these new terrains. You're going to get a grappling hook quite early on as well, which means you can finally start scaling walls, scaling cliffs, moving across big gaps in the environments, which was such a pain in the ass in Far Cry 3. It's like, oh wow, I found this really cool, oh no, I can't go over there because I can't, swing or something. I don't know, it was really annoying. But Far Cry 4, it looks amazing. It looks like it's got so much more style than Far Cry 3. This is just rocketed to the top of my most anticipated list.
I guess the other key thing is you'll be able to enjoy it with somebody else, because co-op's coming to Far Cry 4.
Yeah, co-op. Awesome. Like, so they've only sort of teased it a little bit. It's not in this basically what we're seeing right now is the first 5 minutes of the gameplay. So no sort of hint at gameplay here, but what we've seen of the co-op is it's going to be drop in, drop out. You're going to have your buddy just sort of swing into your world, come and raid outposts with you, come and sort of chase exotic animals, and also they've got this like cool gyros like copter thing where 2 players can get in and pedal their way through the environments and like fly. That's awesome. That's awesome, especially when everyone has a parachute and you can just leap out and like, shoot him. That's happening to you, John.
I look forward to it.
But yeah, apart from that, obviously now we're seeing the villain for the first time, and surprising, well, probably not surprising, is he's more larger than life than ever. Very Saints Row, very ridiculous. Is that a problem?
Not really. I think, as you said, like one of the troubles with Far Cry 3 was it kind of went off the beaten path, and when you get to choose to decide whatever you want to do and play the game the way you want to play it, if you want to have a more darker, serious tone to the game, and the player decides they want to do something silly and be a complete, I don't know, a lunatic out there, then that doesn't necessarily chime together. So in some ways, being a bit more comic book, being a bit bigger, just allows a bit more scope for the player just to decide, oh, I'll do it the way I want to do it. It doesn't really matter. I can be inconsistent. I can behave one way here and another way there. It doesn't matter. I just want to enjoy myself and just have a great time. And that's what a good sandbox game should be about. It should be about empowering you to play it the way you want to play, letting you experiment, do silly things, do things that are, quote unquote, out of character, and just play it the way you want to do it.
I think just as we sort of hit the end of the trailer, I've got, I think, the 3 things I'm most excited to try in this game. First one is you're now finally, and Jesus, it feels like this has been coming for so long, finally going to be able to shoot out of vehicles while you're driving, which means like no more, oh, chase that guy down, drive in front of them, like stop in front of their car and wait until they get out and then shoot them, which was a pain. Now you're going to be able to just sort of blow the tires out, cars are going to flip out, obviously drive off terrain. That's awesome. They've also got vehicle takedowns, so if you drive alongside a convoy that you need to take down, you can sort of click in the right thumbstick, leap onto the other car and sort of stab everyone and sort of take the convoy over, which is wicked. And this is a small change, but it's one I like. If you look down while you're meleeing, you'll kick, which means you can now kick like explosive barrels and sort of other bits of the environment into groups of enemies or into strategic locations, which basically means you can set up any sort of traps and ridiculous sort of explosions however you like, because you have a bit more control over the environment, which I think is perfect fit for Far Cry.
So I think on the whole then, it sounds like beyond our misgivings, we're actually pretty excited about this. Now we've seen more. It's everything we would have hoped from a Far Cry sequel.
Basically, yeah, I mean, Ubisoft Montreal doesn't disappoint often. It looks like they're on the right path here when Far Cry 4 launches on Xbox One this November.